Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. This is Auto Detour, and in today's video we're finally gonna start digging into Gramps back here, my big turbo sleeper F-150. Back in September we took him to the drag strip, pushed 14 psi through him, ran a 13-second pass, and he gave up the ghost right at the finish line. We grenaded the stock 5.4 in this thing, 14 psi. I have to guess we were pushing 600 horsepower. Anyway, really impressed with how long Gramps held on. He held on for like 2 years at 12 psi, and we bumped it up to 14, and that was that. So anyway, we're gonna start digging into Gramps here, figure out what happened, what broke. May not be in today's video because it might take a while to get everything off of here, but I think it'll be cool to show disassembling everything, pull the turbo off, pull all the piping out, probably pull the front end off. Really made a whole new project for myself here. So, but don't worry, we have a built short block sitting here. It's a liver noise block with Molly race pistons and Crower connecting rods, billet connecting rods, and a forged lightning crank. So that's sitting there ready to go in. I think just to get Gramps back on the road for now, we'll probably use the stock heads, maybe put some cams in it. Then we can start building it from there, because eventually I want to upgrade the fuel system, run E85, because my local gas station that sells 93 actually went out of business, so that's kind of a bummer. The closest I got is like Costco does 92, which would probably be all right. But anyway, the end goal would be to run E85 so it can really bump up the timing and boost in horsepower. So if you missed any of the past Gramps videos, I'll put a link up here for the playlist, and you can go and get caught up. So basically starting a whole new disassembly and build series again on Gramps. So I hope you guys are excited. Let's jump right into it. Alright, so first things first, I already got the battery out of here. It's sitting over on top of the beverage fridge over there on a battery tender. So we're all set there. I had many comments saying that battery was not going to make it, but it was in there for over 2 years right next to the hot side piping and never had an issue. I think it helped that we ceramic coated it and wrapped it. But anyway, we're going to get my nice engine cover off that Pat gave me and had painted, custom painted. I'm gonna start pulling all the turbo assembly off, get down to just the block and get it all disconnected and pulled out of there. Alright, so we finally got the turbo out of there. Sitting there on the floor here. Catch can, intake tube, a wastegate dump. So it's slowly coming apart here. Now I can really show you why I've never been able to take off my oil cap, because it's right under that downpipe there. But look at all this. Look at all the oil in the downpipe. This is the up pipe. Clearly a bunch of oil spit out here, so not looking pretty. Still got the wastegate pulled off there. Oil drain removed. Here's the beginning of the cold side, the charge pipe that goes down to the intercooler. Still a bunch of stuff to take off here, but we're making progress. Actually start to see this valve cover again, so that means we're getting somewhere. So we got the wastegate off. Now we're gonna move down here to the underside, or in the wheel well here. I'm gonna start taking off the down pipe. I'm gonna unbolt the piece of the up pipe that went to the wastegate up top here. Get that out of here, and then I'll probably lift the truck up in the air and work on unbolting this turbo header here. And oh, check that out. I think I found that first piece of carnage here. Oh, that is definitely a piece of block or something. Okay, well, looking like we're definitely gonna find a hole in the block down here once we start digging deeper. Set that guy right over here. Our first little souvenir. Let's dig in here, see what else we can find. The wastegate T out of there. Everything is just drenched in oil. It's almost like we blew something up. Now we can see this side of the engine a little better. Wonder if this oil cap still works or if I just melted it. Oh yeah. Surprisingly, I don't have any green goo on the bottom of the oil cap. Must mean it's running pretty good. Oh, look at that. Oil cap still works. So we're making some really good progress, getting all the turbo pieces torn off. Starting to make a pretty good pile down here. I need to get a shelf put up so I can get everything up on a shelf and organized so it's not sitting down here on the floor. Before I pull the front end apart to pull the intercooler piping and all that, I think it's time that we probably should get the truck up in the air on the lift so that I can work on getting the headers off of both sides and the crossover pipe off. That'll be a lot easier to do from underneath. So let's get the truck up in the air, get this thing on the lift, which is something I really wish that I had had when we did the turbo install. Now before we get too carried away underneath getting the crossover pipe off, we got to take off this little beautiful masterpiece. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the sleeper build, and this piece here was fabricated by Eric from Racing Ram Fam. Huge thank you to him for that. It's kind of hard to show you here, but it's basically a Y pipe for the down pipe. So all you see from here is this part right here. Comes over here to this boost actuated cutout. So when we get into boost, it's basically just straight down pipe out the side here. But under regular driving, it splits off to this side of the frame and goes back to the stock muffler back there. So let's get that piece pulled out of there. I want to show you guys that because that's truly one of my favorite parts. It sounds just like stock when you're just cruising around until you get into boost. All right, so I just got the V-band disconnected underneath. Let me see if I can pull this guy out the top. There it comes. All right, there it is. Would you just look at it? I guarantee you that was not an easy piece to fabricate. You get everything to line up and fit and weld together. Not to mention this is stainless, so cutting and welding that was, I'm sure, just a treat. What an awesome piece. One of my favorite parts of the build right there that really makes it a sleeper in my eyes. So now we're getting much better access in here. Got to disconnect this crossover pipe and pull that guy out from underneath. So that's this one here, the crossover pipe that brings the driver's side header up there. Got these V-band clamps, brings all the exhaust from the driver's side over up here into the turbo. So in case you're curious how you get a single turbo on a V8, there you go. You got to collect them all into one turbo header on one side and up into the turbo. Let's get that guy off. I'm really kind of not looking forward to getting these headers off of here. They were not fun to put on. All right, now that we got that crossover pipe out of there, now we can get serious about getting after these headers, getting the headers pulled out of there. And that should be everything for the hot side getting pulled out of there. I am dying to get these headers out of here so I can see. I just don't see any damage from here. Could be behind the engine mount. But once we get the headers out of there, we can get a better look. We can see how big the hole is in the block, because there's got to be a hole in the block. We found that one chunk of metal that somehow stayed hanging out on the frame rail there at 100 miles an hour. Let's get these headers out of here and so we can get a closer look at the block. And then we'll get the truck back on the ground and keep taking stuff apart. Well, I got one header nut out of there and the stud came with it. So it's probably a good spot to end today's video. Since I haven't gotten a video out yet this year, it's probably time to be done with this one and get this one posted. I'll probably be here till next week getting these headers off anyway, and this was an easy one to reach. So be sure to stay tuned for next week's video. We're going to be getting these headers off the rest of the way. We're going to be tearing the front end off the truck, taking the cold side piping off, see how close we can get to getting ready to pull the engine in a sick kind of way. I'm really excited to see what kind of carnage we find in the block over here. It's got to be on this side. There's so much oil over here. I'm excited to be making videos again. It's February of 2022, first video of the year. Been definitely slacking. So I appreciate your patience, but it's time to tear into this thing, get Gramps up and running again. He should be ready for more than 14 PSI this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night. I'll talk to you next time.